don't forget that New Year's readings are available on my website. So if you'd like a personalized New Year's reading, please go ahead and check out my website. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. And hope you'll enjoy this video. Thanks for being here. If you are so inclined, please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, or like this video. We're going down a path of self-affirmations. We use this time to reorient ourselves, to realign the inner reality in a way that predicts better outcomes. And we're doing this with the help of the tarot. I'm actually using the inversion tarot for today's reading. And what we're doing now is we're just slowing down a bit. Just taking some time to actually appreciate the present moment as it presents itself. No judgments, no requirements, no desires. Everything is as is, and everything works. We are here to make a difference, but right now, there's no need to change anything. This is the baseline. This is where we stand and operate in complete darkness and silence. And we have no choice but to enjoy the moment as it unfolds. And it is because it is. And if any negative thoughts come up, allow them to sit with you. They have a life of their own. And at some point in your history, maybe they had a very good protective purpose. So the reason they coexist with you, the reason they come up and bother you every now and then, is because they are soldiers who've been given orders at some point in time. But the war is over. The battle and the battleground itself is nowhere to be found, demolished. The enemy, unknown, perhaps nothing more than a mirror image of yourself. And so, here come these negative thoughts. They represent the protective measures taken to preserve the integrity of the self. At some point in your deep, deep past, they've been put in place with a purpose in mind. Even though all of this happened unconsciously, of course. So now you're here and you're able to simply observe these thoughts. They come and go. They quarrel. They argue. Sometimes they bring up very painful memories. But they are here. Participants in the marketplace of the mind, and they are trying to sell you something. Soldiers turned vendors. And so they have a product to sell you. And the product is, of course, very attractive. Because who wouldn't want to be like the chariot? Who wouldn't want to be invincible, in control of it all? Who wouldn't want to have the omnipotence, the omnipresence, the supreme powers of the chariot who relentlessly, albeit ruthlessly, marches forward? This is the appeal of having a strong, a massive, an indestructible ego. So interestingly enough, these ideas, these spiraling negative thoughts, they have a purpose, or they have, like I said, a product to sell you, and it's up to you whether you buy or not. So do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy the idea that if you hurt yourself long and deep enough, you can train yourself to be superhuman? Kind of like an Ubermensch. Can you turn into a completely false version of yourself that mimics certain base characteristics, but is akin to a demigod? All knowing, all powerful, tireless. Limitless. So the idea that the Nine of Swords is trying to propagate here is that by training you on all the worst case scenarios that it can think of, it can strengthen you. It can scaffold you and shape you and sculpt you into a being which does not necessarily have the vulnerabilities that you are so scared of being found out. So, the choice is yours. Do you buy or do you sell? There's a joy, a sort of impersonal euphoria. Which comes when you surrender the ego. The Ace of Wands is a reminder and a advertisement, if you will, for how things work out, even when you don't actively control or even participate in the constructing of your path. It's not all up to you. It's not your sole responsibility to keep things going. It's not your making, your successes, your failures, your dreams, your incentives, your accomplishments, or lack thereof. Perhaps it's not entirely up to you, and perhaps the idea of the invulnerable self that is resistant to injury and harm. This idea of total control. Not only is it false, but it's also devoid of fun. So what else? What's a better way of entertaining ourselves? Can you imagine a state of mind, a state of consciousness where you exist with the purest, most unpretentious spontaneity, and your actions and your words, they are not filtered by this system of expectations and concepts that plagues your everyday life when you consent to the contract of the chariot. Can you imagine a peaceful anarchy, a creative playground where you can be yourself to the extent that you can even choose to not be yourself and still be yourself, where you have total liberty to continue or discontinue any train of thought, any chain of action, any pattern that no longer suits you or amuses you. This is a world that is governed by the priority or the supremacy of experience, of lived experience versus the need for control. This is a realm where you can be completely out of sync with what is required of you and still be safe. And interestingly, once you go down this path, once you let go fully and unapologetically, on the other end, at the end of the rainbow, you find a certain unplanned, unchecked, uncoordinated stability, a gift that is created moment to moment. It's not an artifact. It's not human design. It's not your plan, anyway. It just happens. And as it does, it reveals that you have this boundless reserve of resources and skills. And they are recruited moment to moment based on necessity. You don't even need to know about their existence. They are invited, called upon, and manifested in situ in each moment that requires some kind of participation from you. But notice that in this scenario, you're not a hero. You're not the mastermind. You're not the inventor, the visionary of your life. You are but a passenger in the events and processes of your life. They unfold by themselves. So the choice is yours between a chariot-like neurosis or the spacious